Hey, let's discuss and demonstrate USB tethering. I'll wake up this phone here. And bring it down here. Go to Do Not Disturb mode so that we won't get disturbed with any of the millions of notifications that come in. And so I want to talk about USB tethering. That's when a mobile device like this is connected to a desktop or a laptop computer via a USB connection. That other desktop or laptop, which is running Windows or Mac OS, can then share the phone's mobile internet connection. As with mobile hotspots, enabling this will automatically disable the mobile device's Wi-Fi connection. And so why might you want to use this? Well, first of all, it works good in a pinch if you don't have a connection for your laptop or your PC. So let's say the Wi-Fi fails on the PC or the laptop, or there's some type of issue with the network connection, then you could connect via USB directly to this and use that as a backup or just as a means of connecting a laptop if you're on the road and there's no access to Wi-Fi or to a wired networking connection. So to make this work, what we do is we go to our settings, and then go to network and go to tethering. And this is also where the mobile hotspot is located. And then you want to connect your device to your PC or your laptop via USB. So I've connected the other end to my desktop computer and connect this end here now. And once we do that, we get the option to actually do USB tethering. Before, it was grayed out. It was disabled altogether. It doesn't become enabled until you actually connect that cable. Now let's take a look at the PC side for a second. And I'm on the computer. And we have two networking connections. Now this is a desktop computer, my main workstation, and it has two wired connections. It does not have a Wi-Fi connection. I don't have any space inside the system for that, but I have connections to two networks, main network and dpro42. And we can go to the change adapter settings screen to see those. The screens are blue, so we know that they are active. But let's say we lost our internet connection. And for example, this kind of thing can work great as a backup for somebody like me when I'm running webinars and everything runs through the internet connection. Well, let's take a look in the command prompt. I'm going to do an ipconfig and take a look at my networking connections. I like to show these things in the GUI and in the command line. So here's main network, the main Ethernet adapter. That's the wired connection. It connects on the 192.168.41 network. And then we have the dpro42, that's on the 10.252 network. So two different network connections. And one of the reasons I have that is so I can connect to a test network and also for a secondary internet connection. But the idea here is that the internet connections fail. So let's go back to our network connections, and to simulate that, I'm going to disable these. Right click and disable each of them so they're grayed out. Okay, I've just lost connectivity to a whole ton of stuff. So these are grayed out. If we go back to the command prompt and do another ipconfig and take a look, we will have nothing. Now we have a lot of virtual connections. We've got VirtualBox, VMware, that kind of thing. But without those wired network connections, we really can't do anything. And so, for example, let's say I want to go to another page. And let's say I want to go to dpro computer. It'll say no internet, cannot connect. So we have proven this computer cannot connect. Now we want to go and check out the backup option so that we can connect. And so we'll go back to our phone here, our smartphone. We've already connected the cable. So now we'll go ahead and tap on USB tethering. Just tap on it to turn it on. And in most cases, that's all you have to do. Now it tells you Wi-Fi is turned off automatically when you turn on mobile hotspots or USB tethering. So Wi-Fi gets turned off automatically. So I'll just okay that and Cancel out of the learning option. And now we see that it is blue, so it is enabled. And that's really all you have to do. Now, in some cases on older devices, you'd have to do a little bit more configuration. And on older operating systems on a PC or the laptop, you'd have to install a driver or something special like that. But in most cases now, you don't have to do that. Let's go back to the computer. And I didn't do anything on this desktop. Been doing this in real time. And if we refresh, it'll go right to the page that you want. Internet access will start to work. Here's my A+ study page from the 900 series. And so a little bit slower than the regular internet connection, but it works. 23,000 visits to this page. So that is functioning. And it worked right off the bat. But again, sometimes you'd have to go and install some type of driver or something for an older operating system. Today's systems should see it automatically. And if we take a look at our network connection screen, well, our main wired connections, they're still disabled. But now we have this, Ethernet 2, which has the blue screens. And if we go to our command prompt and do another IP config and take a look, we will see Ethernet 2, bring this to the top here, 192.168.42 network. Well, previously we had the main network connection on 192.168.41. And in fact, that's what the smartphone was connecting with as well on its Wi-Fi when it was connecting via Wi-Fi. That was on the 192.168.41 network. So what did the smartphone do? It took the next network number in line and created 192.168.42 as a network for the phone and for this computer to communicate out to the internet. And it calls this Ethernet 2. This is a Windows 10 Pro computer, by the way. And we're good. We can connect on the internet now. We can go where we need to go and do what we need to do. So USB tethering is functioning as it should. And when you're done, and by the way, when you're doing this type of thing, if you're on the PC or laptop, quite often you will get issues trying to work with anything networking. You're going to get a lot of problems with this. Connecting to anything on the local area network that you might have access to, working with programs like the Network and Sharing Center, viewing connections, say viewing connections in the command prompt with something like netstat. All of these things are either going to be very slow, they're going to get hung up, or they're not going to work at all because we have a totally new network configuration here. And so when we're done and we no longer need that temporary connection, because that's really what this should be, temporary, then we can disable it, turns it off, go back to our main system here, and that is gone from the networking connections. That has disappeared. And likewise, we will lose connectivity to the internet once again, right? And so that works as a good backup until we get our main network connection back, or really our main internet connection back for these guys. All right, I've just re-enabled those. And so just to check, we should be good, F5, and we're back on the page. All right. And there's so much cool stuff you could do with USB when it comes to Android. And so, for example, you might be interested in the Android debug bridge, which allows you to your PC to talk to the device, and you can do a debugging, you can install apps, you can run all kinds of commands, ADB for working with the device directly. And if you're interested in that kind of thing, you're going to want to be a developer. And so when you connect via USB with that USB connection here, you get some different options with USB. And if we swipe down from the top, we'll see some options here. And we see that it's set to charging, but we can do different things with these USB options. If we tap on that, we can have charging, we can do file transfer, just photo transfer, connect with MIDI. So in fact, if you wanted to transfer files to a PC, you might have to select file transfer. But it goes past this. We can become a developer and do more with USB, a lot more, by going to our settings, go to General, go to About Phone, Software Info, and then the build number. And to become a developer, you tap the build number. Generally, it's like 7 times in Android. Depends on the version. But we start tapping it. You tap it 7 times, and you become a developer. I've already done this, so it says, no need, you are already a developer. When you do that, you get this additional option here above About Phone called Developer Options. And then from here, you can do all kinds of cool stuff with the device, just from a configuration standpoint, and then from a debugging and a programmatical standpoint. All right, bug reports, USB debugging, which you can turn on. That'll work with ADB very well. You could do all kinds of stuff with this. Different types of screen sharing and all kinds of programmatical and testing and debugging types of things. Now, if you're using, say, an iPad, for that, it's going to vary depending on the generation of iPad, but you might have to go to the settings and then go to its personal hotspot. And that's only if you have a cellular connection for this device. This one actually doesn't. So you'd go to settings and go to personal hotspot, turn it on from there, connect the USB cable, and then it'll begin tethering to a computer. Older devices, you would do it within iTunes. Okay, but the concept's about the same and works basically in the same way as with an Android device. All right, so that's a little bit of USB tethering. So once again, that's when a mobile device connects to your desktop or laptop computer, and that desktop or laptop can then share the internet connection of that phone or tablet. And so that's it for this video.